Hello. We saw in the previous video that India is simply not creating good jobs. Why is that? One reason business is not hiring as much as in the past, something we've already seen, is labor-intensive sectors with small and medium-sized businesses are not doing well. Instead, what we're seeing is a tilt in the economy towards capital-intensive businesses. Clearly, they have less need for labor when they're reliant so much more on machines and capital goods. But even there, we would expect some hiring, especially if the growing Indian market is so attractive. In fact, as this chart shows, despite making many public promises, private businesses are not investing strongly. This chart shows that private investment to GDP has been consistently below where it was in 2014. In fact, it has been falling for quite some time with a blip up in the most recent year. It certainly is nowhere near its peak reached in 2008. One of the best private sector sources of data is the CMI, the Center for Monitoring the Indian Economy. This chart plots data from CMIE on the year-on-year increase in the value of new projects announced by the private sector. In other words, high numbers here indicate the private sector is announcing more and more high-value projects. However, what we see is the chart has been falling recently and has gone into negative territory, suggesting that announcements had virtually dried up by the end of last year. If business is so good, as you read and see in the mainstream media and from government advertisements, shouldn't these announcements be going through the roof? Indeed, the finance minister has scolded private industry for not investing more, suggesting these charts are capturing something real. Well, what about foreign direct investment? This chart plots foreign direct investment as a share of GDP. It turns out it is not just Indian businesses that seem reluctant to invest. Unfortunately, even though many corporations are trying to diversify away from producing in China, they do not seem to be coming to India in droves. Foreign direct investment as a fraction of GDP is about as low as it has been over the last decade and a half since the global financial crisis. Yes, there are successes. We can all see some factories being set up. Tamil Nadu, a state I work with, just saw Taiwanese companies entering to make footwear, employing tens of thousands of workers. What attracts them is the quality of Tamil Nadu's educated workforce, especially women, and the inviting business environment. What is the bottom line here? Unless the poorer segments of India's population have spending power through good jobs, consumption demand will be weak, and Indian business will not invest because their existing production capacity is not being utilized fully. Corporations, especially foreign ones, could invest for exports, but unless we improve the quality of the labor force, as have the Western and Southern states, and make the environment more inviting for foreign investors, they will not come in. Indeed, the main investments that we will see will be by firms in the infrastructure and construction sector, where the government is certainly having some success in expanding output and production. But many more of the announcements of investment intent that we see every day in the newspapers will be just that, announcements. After all, what else will business people say? And yes, actual projects are inaugurated every day. India is a vast country, and something good is happening somewhere all the time. Central and state governments have learned to publicize such openings. But at an all-India level, these announcements add up to fairly tepid private investment. Government investment, of course, has stepped up, as we keep saying, but it will create primarily construction jobs. For jobs in manufacturing and services, private investment has to step up. That is a challenge for the next government. Thank you.